That's a minor chord.
I would have given you my heart. I would have given up who I am. But you trampled on my soul. 'Cause you don't understand. You're shallow. You're shallow. You're shallow. Look at that shallow boy.
When this boy meets world, boy meets world. When this boy meets world.
What up, bros?
What up, bros?
And welcome to Boy Meets World.
When it's Boy Meets World, Boy Meets World.
Your Boy Meets World fan cast, episode 74. I'm Ceej.
And I'm your boy, Tony Coitus. I hope you don't mind. I borrowed a little bit of Loser Freak, the song that Morgan sings in this episode, as the medley for the Boy Meets World I did. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm trying to include as much as the music as possible because this episode is just filled with great tunes.
Okay. I found a lot of things, including some Alanis Morissette shade.
Bro, if this episode wasn't written exactly, okay, we got to get into this shit. I'm too excited to talk about it.
Okay, well, you know what you have to do if you want me to begin.
Oh, yes. So, hold on. Tell me about it. Tell us all about the show. Every day it's a music girl has her songs on the radio.
I am very proud of you.
Off the top of the dome, bro.
Is that seriously? I thought you wrote it down.
Nope. It's
all right.
All improv. I'm ending my way through this whole thing.
Well, if you do nothing during this time, I think you can learn improv.
Yeah, I mean, you got the time. Just
yeah,
try it
right. Okay, this is season 4, episode 5, Shallow Boy. When Eric offends Karina, a perky but weird girl who writes overly cheerful lyrics, she composes a nasty song about him, and as a result, Eric gains instant notoriety, or rather, infamy. In a B storyline, Topanga feuds with Corey because she fears that their differing viewpoints on child rearing could affect their long-term future. I have comments. This episode features dialogue paralleling the concurrent rescheduling of Boy Meets World to a later time slot.
Okay, I'm so excited to talk about everything. Where do you want to begin?
You know what? I will let you tell us first thoughts, and then we can go into roll call.
Okay, so first thoughts is I want to address the Alanis Morissette comment that you said at the beginning.
Yes.
There is a very public, I don't know if this is confirmed or non-confirmed rumor, that Alanis Morissette wrote the entire Jagged Little Pill album about Uncle Joey from Full House. And so Dave Coulier is the actor. Keep in mind that Full House, Dave Coulier, this is the same network as Boy Meets World. So
very
if this
true.
had any truth to it, the people at Boy Meets World would know about it. And it honestly appears to me that they heard You All to Know, put 2 and 2 together, and said, yo, we're going to make an episode about this shit. It's hilarious.
Wow. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense because I was like, where's this coming from? It just seems so out of place. It seems so like shady to a girl who I was like, why? Like, it'd be like right now if someone just wrote a show about how annoying Ariana Grande is. And I was like, why?
Yeah. And then it's just like, oh, it's from Pete Davidson's perspective? Wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, we have some Pete Davidson apologist? Shocker. I mean, it doesn't make it better, but it's still just an unnecessary move, in my opinion. But in order to really talk about it, we should do our roll call.
Yes.
And talk about Karina, played by Laisha Haley.
Laisha Haley, who I know as Alice from The L Word.
Ah, I thought she looked familiar.
Yeah, she was in the whole old series. I think she's part of the revival series. She's kind of a gay icon. Like looking through her filmography, it seems like she was in a lot of LGBT friendly material. She was in an episode of like the old school Ellen. She did some like, indie roles and stuff. But I think she's great. I think she's wonderful in this, especially considering this is her first gig ever.
Oh, really?
It's
Uh,
the beginning of her filmography,
I
is
will
this
say
episode of Boy Meets
it's a
World.
little bit is like it was evident to me. I was
Oh,
in it, I was like,
really? I thought
yeah,
she was great. I don't know.
I don't know. She felt like she was getting in her chops. Like it felt a little, um, God, I can't think of his name right now from Parks and Rec.
Adam Scott.
Yeah, Adam Scott. I kept thinking Adam Driver. And I'm like, that's not it. But it felt a little Adam Scott as Griff. Just kind of like, you're like, all right, I get that this is early in your career. You'll do better things, but I'm seeing the seams right now.
Oh, and you know what? That's again, like it's her first gig, so I'm assuming that's fair.
Yeah,
I just thought that the difference between the optimist and the grunge girl was amazing for me to see.
I get folk music is annoying, and then like that overly cheery side is equally annoying. You know what I mean? It's cute for a little bit, and then after a while, it just really drags on. But I did not like the way what this show was saying about this girl. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Like these are things that I liked about her performance, but 100%. When it comes to the storyline, like Eric takes this girl out to lunch so that he can like bash her publicly, and then has a crying fit because she wrote a song about him. Like it's a little over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also when she like it also seemed to be like they were quoting that she had no real talent. Her only talent came from
Yeah,
heartbreak, as if that's original to females. First of
totally.
all, you know what I mean? And then they kind of in a roundabout way called her a hack because it's like, oh, this is her only source of material.
If you're a hack for only being able to write songs about ex-boyfriends and bad relationships, Taylor Swift has built an entire career on this.
Exactly, and she gets the same kind of flack. And what's funny is that's her not being dark and grungy. But so that shows us that it's not the music, just the audience doesn't respect it when it comes from a female.
Totally. Can we talk about Shallow Boy as a song?
Yes.
What were your thoughts when they were like, "Hey, Eric, you got to hear this song on the radio," and they played Shallow Boy? What were your thoughts on
I
it?
thought it was basic. I did not like the song, but I will say it is catchy because right before I was logging in, I found myself singing
I've been singing it too.
it. So it's one of those songs where I'm like, I hate this song, but I also know the words. So
Oh my gosh. Yo, I will say that like when Eric is at Chubby's with her and he's just kind of like getting to that point where he's like, all right, this chick is bug me. What do you think was the way he should have handled that interaction? I guess is what I'm trying to figure out because it seems as though that he like kind of exploded on this girl who really had no suspicions that he wasn't even having a good time. Like he's lying to her about the time he's having, and then it blows
like
up.
again, just the way that they paint her, she is naive and kind of has like this ego to start off with. You know, she's like, my uncle, who's a music producer, wants to give me a record career, but he says that I have no real experience. I haven't lived life, which we, as older individuals, like, yeah, okay, I'm following. Then she goes, I've clearly lived life. I've known, like, I've had some hardships, and she's like very superficial with it.
Which is actually kind of funny because that kind of mirrors Eric and his place in life right now. Where he's like, people are telling him he doesn't have enough experience or whatever. He's kind of feeling that same way, like, oh no, I have enough experience. I can do this.
Exactly. That would have been a great storyline for them to be like, oh, hey, like, actually, she gets inspiration and she takes Eric's quote unquote hardships and uses them as storylines, something like that. You know what I mean? But instead, they just make her a vengeful person. And I was like, don't get me wrong, she is annoying. but she's not that much different than Eric.
Does knowing it's a Jagged Little Pill parody change any of it for you?
No, because I knew that, but understanding and making the connection that these are all Dave Coulier's friends, probably writing, does change it. It's still petty, but it's like, all right, well, I get what they were going for now.
Okay, I want you to listen to You All to Know and think about Dave Coulier. Does she go down on you in a theater? Uncle Joey.
No. But I also remember that, uncles and parents are still human beings. So, I mean, Feeney is always reminding us that he fucks. So,
I guess that's true. I guess Uncle Joey fucks. I mean, I'm glad Boy Meets World is, validating this for us.
I also love, again, I'm sorry that I'm fixated on this, but it's true to me. I think about Morgan coming in and listening to it.
He's a loser freak, loser freak. He's a maladjusted loser freak. He's a woman-hating, maladjusted loser freak. I can't believe you're my brother. Ew. He's a loser freak, loser freak.
First of all, Morgan can sing. I was not expecting.
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you brought this up because there are multiple times. Okay, we have this new Morgan on the cast now.
Yeah.
And we'll see throughout the seasons, especially in the college years when she's a little bit older, that they really try to work her singing into different episodes. There's a talent show episode where she sings "Wind Beneath My Wings," which Corey crashes or whatever. There's just a few times where they have her sing because I think it's true. She's one of those, 90s kids that knew how to act and dance and sing and do the whole shabazz. And I'm sure it was cool that they found ways to work it into the show.
Yeah, it sounds like it's early Disney Factory. Had she come out at a different time, she would have been in the Mickey Mouse Club or had her own spin-off show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something. If this was 2003, she'd be on Disney Channel with that shit. But it is what it is. It's interesting because her singing was the only thing we heard of the song. She legit had to sing that so well that the audience could just hear it as the song it was supposed to be heard and not think about her singing it.
The thing about the singing, though, is it brought us to our bruh moment, or at least my bruh moment.
It's my bro moment too.
Exactly, when it goes she goes
And he doesn't like girls because he's afraid of them, afraid of them. I think he likes boys, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, this chick is toast.
This chick is toast.
Yeah, that's the line.
The final straw.
So everyone is not doing anything well right now. Including the fact that they basically just said that gay men are afraid of women, which is the exact same argument that men use for lesbians, that they're just afraid of men.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
And it's does anyone in the 90s know anything about sexuality?
And it was just really interesting. I thought Eric's reaction was just oh, that's the last straw. She can write a whole album about me, but insinuating that is too far. Do you have anything else about Corinna or the Eric storyline? Because I kind of want to talk about the Topanga thing a little bit with you.
I think we covered most of it. I think, like I said, this is her first heartbreak, and she was no one's ever talked to me this way. And I was as bad as Eric is, it's also not he slapped her or belittled her on television. He should have just left and been oh, this was really nice, I'm gonna head out. He didn't have to explode on her, but the fact that he did.
I want to put you on a rocket ship and send you to the planet Flafluga was what I believe he told her.
That's exactly what he told her. But I'm just saying, based on that alone, for you to change your entire personality, you are a very impressionable little girl. And I really think that's sad.
One thing I want to say real quick before we switch to the B storyline is that they make a point to say that her album is explicit and not meant for young listeners or some shit like that. It has the adult advisory sticker on it. Yet Morgan has her own copy that she's learned all the words to. So maybe Alan and Amy need to look at themselves in the mirror.
Well, also that. Thank you, because what I was going to point out with Morgan is the fact that there is also this idea that the music that girls listen to isn't valid. It's not real music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of that going on in the 90s. Like there was like, oh, that's like a chick band or something like that. Whenever
Exactly.
there was like a female rock band specifically. Not so much with pop, but like anytime like females were playing their own instruments or writing their own songs, there seemed to get that backlash.
Even in pop, like, I mean, for the most part, girl groups or anything that teenage girls are into just isn't taken seriously until guys find their way to be into it as well.
Okay, so the episode when we switch to the B storyline, we're in I think it's Feeney's class, and they're talking about like their thoughts on society or something, or like what the faults of society. And Topanga goes, "Oh, I think the biggest problem with society is the breakdown of the traditional family unit. Can we talk about that?"
Are you telling me that Topanga votes Republican?
Yeah, like it was such a strange position for her to have specifically. And
Feeny, it made sense. Even though I don't love it, I'm like, ugh, you're killing me, Feeny. But
I
makes
would have
sense to
even
me.
thought of it like if Corey had said something like that, and like it was like an opportunity for Sean to kind of see, like them to learn from each other. Maybe he could spend more time as Sean, see their family, kind of having more traditional issues. I don't know, like something like that makes more sense than Topanga, who is so like,
Ahead of her time, usually.
yeah, it seemed really strange for her to take that position.
I mean, you know what? We're teenagers. We're human beings. We're all able to hold conflicting ideals, but I was just really disappointed that Topanga had this idea that it is the lack of the family that's breaking down society and not, I don't know. There are like several things that you would expect Topanga to say, you know?
Yeah, like maybe the prison industrial complex is responsible
Exactly.
for breaking down the family unit a bit. Like that was something.
Capitalism, you know, like there are several things that I expect Topanga to really be like vocal about. The fact that women don't make as much as men, you know,
Sure.
there's no value in emotional labor. These are arguments that I would expect someone like Topanga to make, and instead they made her a traditional housewife.
I don't even know what her aspiration is from that perspective. Like, it seems as though it's to be a housewife, and that doesn't seem like Topanga at all.
Especially since they have it where she's already thinking about children with Corey.
And it's not even something that her and her parents practice. Like, she doesn't even call her dad and mom. So it seems so weird that this is her take.
Maybe if this would have been like her version of rebellion, you know, like them really talking, having a conversation, her saying,
Oh, she's going through her
Jedediah.
Alex P. Keaton phase.
Exactly. And her saying, you know, like she never really had the traditional family. That would have been a conversation.
Yeah, okay, so I want to talk about the babysitting scene with you.
Yeah, that leads us to this. And then,
Well, yeah, because
there's
Topanga,
self awareness.
after they have the whole classroom scene, Sean feels personally slighted by Topanga, which he should. And Corey says, like, hey, let's hang out because I can't hang out with Topanga. She's babysitting tonight. And Sean's like, no, bro, this is your chance to raw dog that chick on the house. And it's interesting because it brings to light Corey's insecurity with his own reputation. Like
Yeah.
this whole storyline is about Corey feeling like he needs to be dangerous. We kind of saw this last season in the roller coaster scene with him and Feeney trying to prove that they're dangerous and that they're not just like plain ordinary people. Corey's worried about, being seen as dangerous or safe or whatever. And it's so funny because that's kind of the overarching theme of the episode if you're trying to tie together the A and B storyline. Because here is Corey insecure about his reputation and how he's being talked about and thought of. And Eric is dealing with the same thing with his reputation, worrying about how this girl who wrote this song is, that's playing everywhere. It's affecting people's perspective of him, Morgan singing that he doesn't like girls. Like all of that is tied to a reputation too. So that's kind of the link between the A and B storyline. But what I love about the babysitting scene is that we have our first meta moment of Boy Meets World. The best thing about Boy Meets World is when they are self-referential, when they are including themselves in that same Kevin Williamson late 90s scream, I recognize that I'm a television show parody. Like, that's so fun for them. Not only do we see that in the Then There Was Sean, the Scream episode, but we also see it in the episode where Eric goes to Hollywood to star in the show Kid Gets Acquainted with the Universe. It's something that's so much fun for us to
I
watch as an
love meta
audience.
awareness, but I did not like this one. This one felt very hacky to me. Like, it felt like the part that I would say was the most funny to me was when the kid came back in and was like, "You gotta watch this one." The curly head kid's got himself in over his head. You know what I mean?
Yes, because the kid says that he wants to stay up late to watch his favorite TV show, and Topanga's like, "I know you don't stay up this late. How do you even watch the show? How can it be your favorite?" And he says, "It's the show. They moved it from 8:30 to 9:30." Why did they move it to 9:30? Was it doing badly at 8:30? No, they're trying to kill it. They're trying to kill it. I thought it was hilarious that the Boy Meets World were saying that ABC was not taking their show seriously, and they just intentionally put it on the air. Like, they're making fun of their fucking boss on TV. Like, it's so funny
It's
to
something
me.
that it was something about the delivery of this particular scene. Maybe Corey was too earnest. Maybe I don't know what it was, but I just did not like watching it. Whereas when I heard it, it's the kind of humor that I appreciate. And hearing you read it back to me, I laughed, but I just did not laugh while I was watching.
It's interesting because even when I think back to when it originally aired, I think this was one of the times that, like, it was a joke that I understood, even though I was a kid and watching
Got it.
Like, I was in on the joke of it. And I just thought that, I don't know, I've always loved this episode for that.
Of course you have.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, this episode, I don't think there's as much meat on this as, like, some of, like, the heavier episodes that we've had with, like, Alan or with Sean. But I do think that it was just like them having just fun with these different storylines.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Do you want to talk about the positioning of Topanga?
About, like, her putting pressure on Corey to be a good dad while he's in high school. That's ridiculous. Yes. All of Topanga's motivations seem a little ridiculous in this episode to me.
Like, I feel like maybe would have liked this more if they had made this storyline with a girl Sean was dating.
Confronting Sean because he is the opposite of the traditional family. Like, that's an episode.
Also, like, it would be a bit reductive of a female role, but it would still, we don't know anything about that female character, so it would make sense. I think putting this on Topanga just feels very weird.
I don't know. I think this is just an example of, like, Boy Meets World not doing women well.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because there's another episode, I think it's the next one, where it's just like Amy starts acting like overly like motherly and feminine, and like she just can't help herself from being a woman about things, and it just really feels like that Boy Meets World just uses that as like a tired tripe that just like
they're like, insert woman.
Yeah, any moment a maternal instinct can kick in, and like you gotta calm a woman down.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that was the episode. Feeny taught me. What do you got?
The Feeny taught me of this episode is creative expression. You too can make money off of a heartbreak. If you're creative enough, you'll figure it out.
All right, I'll give it to you. I think this episode for me was you could skip it. That was my Feeny lesson.
I will say this, like, it's not it holds no weight as far as just like storylines for this season. But I think it's a fun episode. If you're ready for grades, I'm gonna tell you, I'm giving this episode a B.
Really?
I'm giving it a B, bruh.
I've given it a C.
All right.
It's like middle run of the mill episode for me.
I don't know. Maybe there's nostalgia for this episode for me because I don't know. I very clearly remember watching this when it first aired.
Okay. So homework. I am really excited about my homework. I don't think we've done this yet. But did I tell anyone to watch Tiger King?
I don't know that we've talked about Tiger King yet. And I got to tell you, bro, I'm on like episode like 4 or 5, and I don't know how this keeps getting crazier.
Yes! Thank you.
I'm all in. I'm all in. Every episode, I'm like, this can't get more ridiculous. How many episodes are there? What happened?
And every time they introduce someone new, you're like, how did you manage to get the story even crazier with another crazy character?
It's like there's so much over the top insanity that like we're skipping over basic things that we would take an hour to unpack.
Absolutely.
Just because there's too much. It's like this is like the perfect documentary for the age of Trump. For like that, there's ridiculous shit happening every minute, so you can't keep track of it allness of society that we're in. This is the documentary that answers that, because it is just the same shit of just wild shit after wild shit every 10 minutes. It's like season 1 Jersey Shore. It's fantastic television.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to recommend it. This show is so chaotic. The characters are insane. As someone pointed out, there is a drug dealer who completely admits to killing someone, and that's just like it's pushed it aside. Everyone's like, yeah.
There are so many people who have multiple married spouses that I wouldn't think could score one person.
Thank you. I was like, why have I been like diet and exercising all this time?
It's just it's insane. Like there's so many just like people who are just like, yeah, I'll do this entire interview shirtless. Like I don't care. Like
no explanation given. One dude is recorded in the bathtub, and
yeah,
just
why
like,
not?
All right, I guess this is what we're doing.
And it's so crazy because when I recommend Tiger King, like I don't even know what to say it's about. Like people are like, "What's the story about?" I'm like, I don't fucking know, bro. Just watch it.
Watch it.
That's what I would say to our listeners. If you haven't checked it out yet for whatever reason whatsoever, watch it immediately so you'll be able to recognize who everyone is dressed as come Halloween.
Okay, what's your homework?
Oh, my homework is I would really like everyone to check out the new music video by Joyner Lucas called Will. I don't know if you've seen this music video yet, but the rapper Joyner Lucas created an entire song dedicated to Will Smith where he recreates all of his entire filmography through the music video while rapping simultaneously.
What?
Like, including like Pursuit of Happiness and I Am Legend, like including that into the raps while he's changing from character to character. It's so insanely creative. It's so well done. For people who like us who grew up like with Will Smith in our lives, like it's such a great tribute to him, and I don't know, I just think everyone should check it out.
Okay, thank you guys for listening to Boy Meets World. Remember, you can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can leave us a rating. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Boy Meets World, or email us at boymeetsworld@gmail.com. TC?
You can find me on Instagram at @braverme, @braver.me, and like I always tell you guys, if you have anything you want to add into the conversation, if you have thoughts about the episode Shallow Boy, you want to give us your takes on it, maybe you like it, maybe you hate it, let us know. And recommend us to your friends, because everyone can benefit from a little Boy Meets World during quarantine.
Oh yeah, I have to say, if you like Shallow Boy and you like songs that are based inside of a series, then you will love Tiger King and his custom hits. Because I'm not gonna lie, Here Kitty Kitty is a bop.
Here Kitty Kitty. Bro, an entire song written about a woman who fed her husband to a tiger. And that is 10 minutes of this documentary.
So if that doesn't get you, then I don't know what will. But okay, you guys, remember to dream.
Try.
Watch Tiger King.
Yeah. Later, bruh.
Later, bro.